Tonight, the RNC gets its chance to fight back, to have its convention and to make its case. It's going to be interesting to see the coverage after we saw that absurd. I mean, how anybody can go home as a journalist after watching a speech and saying, "Oh, it was so wonderful." You know, Margaret Brennan on CBS. I used to like her. She used to be kind of fair, but she's just gone whole hog. I guess she got the word from on high. We're supporting the Democrats. She was like, when she heard Obama, she was clasping her hands under her chest like Tess Trueheart after Dick Tracy had saved her. Oh, thank you. It's just insane. So let's see how they cover the RNC. It should be pretty funny. They released their agenda. They want to push job creation, create 10 million new jobs in 10 months, cut taxes to boost take-home pay, developing vaccine. By the end of 2020, Tim Scott is out there. He will be one of the speakers. Obviously, they've got to get a black guy in there, and he's a good one. He's a good man. And here's his pitch, cut 11.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on growth. The Trump administration pre-COVID-19 created 7 million jobs, and they did it in an inclusive way. The lowest unemployment rate on record for African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, 70-year low for women. If President Trump is reelected, and he will be, we can expect more growth, hope.
I think this is a good deal. One of the things that we saw, I don't think that Biden got a bump on the DNC, and that rarely happens. It happened with John Kerry, I remember. It's not a good sign. Right now, Trump is still trailing, but the signs are pretty good. Republicans are just now getting interested in the election. I always tell commentators this because, pundits always think that everybody is like us, that everybody's paying close attention. A lot of people have not been paying attention. The Democrats, of course, have been wholly engaged because they hate Trump so much, but the Republicans haven't. Now the Republicans are paying attention. He's held on to his base. Nobody knows whether he has increased, support in minority voters. I mean, it's very hard to get that information because people are afraid to say stuff. But who knows? I mean, right now, I'd say he's just about as far behind as he was with Hillary Clinton. The battleground states are narrowing. We will see. The left is doing everything they can to make chaos out of it. But they're trying to get a more hopeful message. This is Trump again last week, cut 10.
Joe Biden grimly declared a season of American darkness. And yet look at what we've accomplished until the plague came in. Where Joe Biden sees American darkness, I see American greatness. We've seen heroic doctors and nurses racing into action to save lives. We've seen first responders helping strangers in need. We've seen the passage of historic legislation to save 50 million American jobs. We've mobilized American industry like never before.
I mean, it's this statement of what he wants to do down at the bottom. He emphasizes the stuff about healthcare and changing our reliance on China. But it's down toward the end. There's some really good stuff if he means it. Education provides school choice to every child in America. I think that is a great agenda. Teach American exceptionalism. I think that is the right thing to do. Actually, what I would want to see taught is the freedom agenda. I would like to see freedom emphasized as the prime value, the history of freedom, how it comes to us from Greece and Rome and through Europe and to America. I think that freedom is the thing that makes this country so different, or has up till now. And I think it's important that children learn that, that it comes with problems. Hasn't always, if slavery was wrong, here's my thing, they like to emphasize slavery. Oh, the great sin of slavery, and a great sin indeed, but a great sin being committed by everybody else, including everybody in Africa. So a pretty universal sin. But if slavery is so bad, why is it so bad? Well, it's so bad because freedom is good, right? If freedom is not good, slavery is not bad, but slavery is bad because freedom is good. So I would like to see the freedom agenda taught in school. He has a thing, drain the swamp, pass congressional term limits. Excellent idea. That would be absolutely terrific. Some people say that congressional term limits are bad because they give more power to the to the permanent government, to the bureaucracy. But I would like to see the laws about the bureaucracy changed as well. And that's another one. He says, end bureaucratic government bullying of U.S. citizens and small businesses. That, I think, should be done by law. I think that they should get rid of, they should pass laws to counteract Supreme Court decisions that give too much power to bureaucracies, allowing bureaucracies to interpret their own regulations, which essentially makes them not just legislators, it also makes them the judge in the trial, which is not a separation of power. It's bad. They want to defend the police rather than defund the police, end illegal immigration and protect American workers, and innovate. They want to have a first man mission to Mars, which I love. I think that's a great idea. And America First foreign policy. You know, it's interesting. They're touting, of course, the Democrats are touting, fair enough, Republicans like Jeff Flake who have defected to Biden's side. And I can't imagine, I'll talk about this in a minute, I can't imagine how seriously, anybody can support Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I mean, really, hate Trump, stay home. I get it. But really voting for, the only way I could see doing it, I guess, is just saying, like, you think Trump is so bad that you'll even vote for these the brain dead guy and the communist and the corrupt communist. But it's pretty bad. It's lowering yourself a lot. But the Republicans who think, and there are a lot of them, and whether they're principled or not is not the point. The Republicans who think once we get rid of Trump, we can get back to normal, they are wrong. They are wrong. People sent Trump to the presidency for a reason. He beat every other Republican like that. I mean, Trump's defeat of Hillary Clinton may have been a one-off. He may lose. See, this is the thing I keep telling people, and they don't even hear the words coming out of my mouth, because everybody's saying, well, it was a mistake. It was, a fluke that he beat Hillary Clinton. Maybe so. He may lose this next election. But the fact that he beat 17 other Republicans and the best that the Republicans had to send, I've told this story before, but just before the primaries started, I met a guy who was going to work at a very high level in the Jeb Bush campaign, and I blurted out in my completely Klavan-esque way, which I sometimes wish I wouldn't do, but I can't help it. I blurt things out. I say the thing that I think is true. I said to him, Jeb Bush, no one's going to vote for him. And he snorted at me, like, what do you know? And later they had me on a podcast where they said, how did you know? And I said, everybody knew except that guy, except Jeb Bush and the Republican Party. If they think they're going back to the Jeb Bush, George W. Bush Republican Party and they will ever win again, they are wrong. Trump was right about immigration. The people want, I was reflecting on this, watching TV over the weekend. I saw somebody talk about undocumented immigrants. And I thought, that's an immoral thing to say, undocumented immigrants. Surely the rule of law matters. It's not immoral to say, I hate this law and I want to open the borders. It's wrong, but it's not immoral to say, I want a law opening the borders. But to say that somebody can break our law, and yet it's insulting to mention that he's an illegal immigrant, because they are illegal immigrants. That's what they are. They're not even immigrants. They're illegal gate busters. They're just invaders, basically. And it has nothing to do with where they're from or who they are. It's just they have broken our laws, and our laws are what keep us free. Our laws are what keep us equal. Being a country of laws and not of men is what makes a free country work. And this idea that you can break our laws and just somehow we just shrug it off is absolutely wrong. It's immoral. It really is. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Andrew Klavan Show. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all our future content.